Matthew 5, verses 10 and 11 and 12. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. What's up, and welcome to another video of Strength in Scripture. Today is actually a requested video that I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on. We know in the world right now there is a lot of persecution against Christians, especially in Syria and I believe parts of Africa as well. And today I want to address that and talk about the topic of persecution, why I go throughout these deadlifts. Hopefully, as always, you guys are enjoying these videos. Again, like I said, this one was requested, so let me know the topics you want to see as well and want to hear discussed. But let's go ahead and jump into today's topic and today's deadlifts. Now, I'm only going to two different sections in the Bible today, which there's so much talk of persecution, especially in the New Testament. But the two verses I want to visit are the one we've already read. And again, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And the first thing I want to unpack here, blessed, that means happy. Happy is the person who is persecuted. And that sounds so countercultural, flipped. Like, why would you be happy when you are persecuted? And I'm going to dive into that with my own experience, which is nowhere near what people are going through right now in other parts of the world. I don't want to act like I was on any level of them. But how can somebody be happy in the midst of persecution? Well, if you don't know, I was a missionary in Haiti for a period of time. We strictly did voodoo ministry. I know it sounds crazy, and it was. But there's one thing that I brought home with me that I will never forget. And I even have it, can't really see it, but it is tattooed on my hand and it says, "Take me deeper." And the reason I got that tattoo is because in Haiti, working with voodoo, we were up against a lot of spiritual opposition, to the point of us being told that people wanted to kill us, had people trying to put curses against us through voodoo. There was a lot of things against us. And we went through some really hard times. Often our journeys would be 3 hours hiking up a mountain, sometimes in the rain. I just want to paint these conditions for you to realize that it's just not your typical American encounter that I was having. But at the end of every day, when we got home around 7 or 8 o'clock, and I was so whooped that I did not think I could go another day, there was one thing that overwhelmed me, and it was my joy. And every single night, the more persecution, the more trials, the more struggles I went through, I laid on my bed in Haiti and I would say, "God, take me deeper." Why did I pray that? I prayed that because no matter what persecution, what suffering, what level of hardship I suffered, I know that I experienced Christ more through it. So that is why I continue to pray, take me deeper, because God, no matter how hard these days are, if I'm experiencing you more and more, the harder it gets, take me more, because that is my goal, more of you. So that is how you can say happy are those who are persecuted. Yes, this persecution is terrible and people are losing their lives, but a Christian understands that their treasure is not here on heaven. Their focus is not here. They are living for something so much greater. And that is one way that you can look at persecution as a good thing, because the Bible tells us it's going to come. Suffering is going to come. Just as much as believing is a gift, so is suffering. And we see that in Scripture. That's the one we're going to turn to next. But all that being said, without getting long-winded and making this point too much, the more persecution I've experienced in my life, again, which is in no degree even close to what some people are experiencing, but the more I experienced of it, the closer I felt to Christ, the more joy I had. And I believe it is very similar to the people in Syria right now and all over the world, is that they are being persecuted and lives are even being taken. They are experiencing Christ, and there is so much joy in that. 2 Timothy 3:12 goes on to tell us that anyone who wants to live a Christian life will be persecuted. It doesn't say might be, it says will be. So that is just part of the Christian life. it says you will be persecuted, that looks different in different cultures as well. Some people will be persecuted to the point of giving their life. Some people will just be made fun of. And there's not to say, obviously one looks and is way worse than the others, but whatever level of persecution you're experiencing is not to be overlooked. It needs to be met with prayer of asking God to continue to help you walk through it. So if your life is demanded of you, that is a persecution some Christians will face. If people are just making fun of you, and I'm not going to downgrade what you're feeling in those moments, but continue to pray that God would help you push through those times and continue to fight to share the gospel, no matter what level of persecution you are going through. Again, that verse says that all Christians will be persecuted. So let's address what that doesn't mean. That doesn't mean going out, trying to start arguments, trying to start fights, trying to just nitpick to get people to persecute you. What that does mean is if you are walking a life focused on Christ, growing with Christ, at some point, opposition and persecution will come. It's a guarantee. If it's not coming in your life, well, I would say address how you're walking as a believer. And if you're only getting minor persecution, it doesn't mean go out and search for a greater level of it. Just continue to pursue Christ. Continue to live for Him. Continue to know Him more. It's going to come. It is going to come in one form or another. Continue to press on and keep fighting. And one last verse for today. I pulled one more than I thought I was going to, but it is Philippians 1:29. For it has been granted to you that for the sake of Christ you should not only believe in Him, but also suffer for His sake. And then verse 30, engage in the same conflict that you saw I had, and now hear that I still have. My focus here is verse 29, that again it says, it has been granted to you that for the sake of Christ you should not only believe in Him, but also suffer for His sake. Suffering is a form of persecution, and it is something every Christian will go through at some point if you walk this walk and truly walk it for Christ. So all that being said, persecution, though from an outside perspective looks awful, it is very sad to see people go through, but the Bible tells us it is coming. They killed Jesus. What makes you think that they're going to do any different to you if you are pursuing a life with Him? Thankfully, majority of you watching here are going to be in America, where you're not going to have to experience that form of persecution. But if it comes, and one day it might, stand strong. Continue to fight. Like I said, the Bible tells us it's going to come. We should not shy away from it. What we should do is draw closer to Christ and nearer to Christ, so that in the midst of persecution, we can have that prayer of, take me deeper. God, lead me closer to you, because in those trials, in that pain, in that suffering, in that persecution, I experience more joy. I experience this firsthand, and I know how great it is. So whatever you are struggling with, whatever kind of persecution you are feeling right now, just continue to press into Christ. Don't let it steer you away from Christ, but let it draw you closer and closer to Him, because He is your comfort. He is your strength through those battles. So this wraps up the devotion part today. And I might even do a part 2 of this, because persecution, as I said, it's something that every Christian will go through, and it is worth talking about. But continue to keep watching for the workout part of the video. Hopefully you like, comment, and subscribe. Continue to grow this channel, get the message of Christ out there, not for my glory, but for His alone. We have a pretty heavy deadlift today, 515 by 2. So let's get to it. God bless you guys.